Well, there is no time off if you're the mayor. Hamilton Mayor Fred Eisenbeger joins us on this Victoria Day Monday. Happy holiday to you.
Happy Victoria Day. Thank you.
I thought you might be outside with the beautiful weather, but there's so many more people outside right now enjoying activities.
Well, I'm planning on being outside, so I've got some tennis lined up for today, and lots of the facilities are open now. The golf courses, tennis, basketball, pickleball courts, the escarpment stairs, splash pads. Almost all of the splash pads are open this weekend, thanks to the good work of our public works staff. They went at lightning speed from Friday to get all of these facilities open so people could enjoy them safely. And so, the nice weather brings out some better news in terms of what people are able to get access to and enjoy.
Right. I was really impressed at how quickly Public Works crews were working, because the announcement came down on Friday afternoon, and then all of a sudden, boom, the signs are gone from the escarpment stairs. I saw the splash pads come up, and it's got to take a while to get things up and running.
Well, there was some preparation for that, in the eventuality that would happen. So they had a plan, and they executed it extremely well. It takes a lot of people to get all of these facilities up and running. A splash pad, you don't just flip a switch. There's a number of things that have to happen to make sure they open safely. And so they did a terrific job. I mean, all throughout the city, I think people were able to enjoy the amenities that we have, and hopefully they're doing it in a safe way. So physical distancing and all the other things that are still necessary are still important for people to consider and think about. But the ability for them to enjoy all of these great facilities is now there, and hopefully we can keep it that way. And that really is going to be the challenge going forward, is making sure that we get these numbers down so that we can continue to open safely other facilities like restaurants and other retail locations. That certainly is the objective, but we need the case numbers to stay low, and they're going in the right direction, although they're still somewhat high.
With the splash pads, I wanted to ask you about Wild Waterworks. I know the announcement was made earlier this season that it was going to be closed again this year, but with some restrictions now being lifted, could you easily the city change its mind and decide to reopen?
Okay, there's two things there, Annette. First of all, it's Conservation Authority that manages and runs the Wild Waterworks, and I think they've made a decision that it takes too long for them to organize. There's a lot of training of staff, which tends to be seasonal folks, a lot of lifeguard training that needs to happen ahead of time. I would know that because my kids, when they were younger, were actually working at the Wild Waterworks, and the preparations for their opening starts, months in advance of any kind of an opening, and they're just not able to do that right now. So I think they've decided that, a viable season is going to be very, very, very difficult to do, and, the number of people that they'd be able to get in there would be so limited that it just wouldn't make it either financially viable or viable in terms of staffing and everything else that goes with it. So, and I think a lot of events that, would like to, have a season this year may very well go through the same process. I'm thinking about our fall events, peach festivals. It takes a long time for them to get organized for these events, and they just don't have the runway to be able to do that. So I worry about those events as well. Doubtful that they'll happen because it really requires a lot of people going through there to make them viable events. So Wild Waterworks is in the same category, and I suspect that it's not very likely that it'll open this year.
Thanks for clarifying that, because the city owns it, but the Conservation Authority runs it. That's correct.
Exactly right. Yeah, we own Confederation Park, but it's been managed and actually built and developed by the Conservation Authority, to their credit. And it's been a great asset in our city and enjoyed by many, but it's going to be difficult to open, I think.
Right. We have about a minute left, Fred. I wanted to ask you, any update at all on what could happen with LRT or when it could happen?
So the latest news is that Metrolinx and the Ministry of Transport is coming to our June the 2nd General Issues Committee to speak to members of council and staff to lay out their proposal, the $3.4 billion worth of funding, and start talking about or answering some of the questions that councillors may have in terms of the project. Obviously, the operating expense is one that comes up a lot. Clearly, the estimate numbers that we've seen on that are far outweighed by the estimates for additional taxes and the development that comes with it. So a lot of that information will be shared on June the 2nd, and I'm hopeful that we'll provide direction to our staff to start developing the the next memorandum of understanding that got us, the first one got us to the procurement phase, and acquisition of a lot of property that are now sitting idle waiting for the next iteration of LRT, and a lot of other work, about $170 million worth of work that has been done already to design and build the LRT. So it's now a follow through, and I anticipate that the direction will be given to develop the second MOU that includes the federal government.
Okay.
And hopefully after that process, we'll be able to get some shovels in the ground sooner rather than later.
Okay, we'll look forward to that date then. Thanks very much and good luck with your tennis game today.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm going to enjoy it.